This is Access Ann Arbor.
My name is Elaine Roman. I am a retired school social worker. I am a citizen of the United States, originally from Palestine, but I consider myself a citizen of the world. Our topic for today is, was justice served? We have with us Mr. George Khoury. George, I am really privileged to have you here in this program.
Thank you, ma'am.
Because you are really working hard for the U.S. here and Palestine, and you put your effort and soul and heart for the community. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to ask you, can you tell us briefly about yourself?
Yeah, my name is George Khoury. I was born in Jerusalem, Palestine, 1942. I came to the United States as a student in 61. I got my degree from U of D in engineering. I'm a retired engineer. And I got my master's from Central Michigan with business administration, MBA. And I work with an American organization called Friends of Sabil, North America.
Mm-hmm. Sabil, it means a good name for it in Arabic.
Sabil is the path, or
path.
it's the flow of water, which is the
Right,
source of
yeah.
life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. On the news there is we're talking about Rasmiya Audi. Can you tell us about her story, because people want to know more about her?
Briefly, Rasmiya is a 67-year-old woman.
Uh-huh.
She resided in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
She
is originally from Palestine.
She's a Palestinian, yes.
From town of Lifta, you said.
From Lifta, yes.
Yeah.
She is from Lifta. And in 1969, something happened in Jerusalem, and that 69 is 2 years after the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza by the Israeli forces. Something happened there, and she was caught, and among other people, and they were accused of setting whatever happened, where 2 people were killed in that operation. Mm-hmm. And she stayed in jail by the Israeli military, and she was tried by the military. Mm-hmm. And after a series of rape and torture, she confessed. So her confession was as a result of rape and torture. And what they did at the time, they put her in jail for life, I believe.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, there was a prisoner exchange.
And she stayed in prison 10 years.
Yes, she was in prison for 10 years. And then there was a prisoner exchange between Israel and the Palestinian resistance, and she was one of the people who was exchanged. And normally the Israelis, when they exchange the prisoners, they give the least dangerous person out.
Yeah,
so that tells me something that she should not have been there to start with. But that's fine. She was. However, her trial by the military only took a few minutes. It didn't take a lot. You know, they just condemned her for,
This is how they do
this
for all the Palestinians.
That's right. They want to evict most people out of there in different ways.
Even if they throw stones, they put them in prison.
If you look at them wrong, they will arrest you. They have that law where they can detain you without any charges for as long as they want. Mm-hmm. At any rate, after the prisoner exchange, she went to Jordan and Lebanon, and she got the news that her father, who was in Detroit, he was having a restaurant. He did have a restaurant in Detroit. He was struck with cancer. So he wanted somebody to take care of him, because
usually in our culture, the girl
will come and take care of him, because his wife was either they are divorced or she was dead. I don't know that. And so she came to take care of him. And once she was here, she got to know the community in general and the community of her village that she came from, which is Lifta. And most of them, they were in Chicago. So after he passed away, she went to Chicago. That's why she you know, when whatever happened to her later on, we're going to talk about, they brought her from Chicago to Detroit. In the meantime, what she did is she applied for citizenship in 1995. And she got her
came
citizenship.
to United States What year?
Um,
I mean, in other way, she stayed in
yeah, she applied for citizenship in 1995.
95. Okay.
She had the green card before that.
But she stayed in the United States a few years more before.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did. And then she got her citizenship in 95. No, her citizenship was in 19... she immigrated in 1995. She got her citizenship in 2004.
Okay, I'm glad that you,
Yeah, okay, thank
After
you.
9 years.
Yeah, and then recently only, somehow the government had information about that she was involved or she was indicted by the Israeli military. So they looked up her application and they found out
Citizenship.
her citizenship paper, and they found out that she lied on her application for citizenship. So they sued her and they brought her in. Okay, that was a year ago. And when she came here in about a month ago for trial, pre-trial and a trial on those charges that she lied to the government, so they accused her of lying on her papers.
Okay, and why the trial was in Detroit, not in Chicago?
Because originally she came to Detroit, and her application for citizenship was in Detroit.
That's
she has
why.
to come back here. That's right.
That's why.
So when they brought her in here, that's when I start following. I didn't know her before, but when I heard that she came to Detroit, I went to the court and I followed the pre-trial and the trial of her case.
Yeah. And I heard that she's icon. Why they call her icon? I mean, is she?
Well, Rasmiya, when she came here, she went right away to school. And she got a degree, and she found a job with the Arab American Action Network in Chicago. And her job is to mobilize or to organize the Arab immigrant women who are normally marginalized in society, especially in this society. They don't speak English very well, they are not assimilated, and our culture, the woman stays at home. So she went in there and she really organized them, so they empowering them to go out and find jobs and go to school and push their kids and their daughters to go to school. And that's why she became an organizer, a community organizer. In the meantime, she's a community organizer, but she is pro-Palestinian. She is Palestinian. She knows what happened to her people was wrong. She's defending it. And all of a sudden, there was a very obvious effort by the FBI and the government is to silence those who are pro-Palestine or anti-Israel. So they found what they wanted. They found she lied on her application, so they brought her to justice. Was she guilty? Yes, she was. She did not answer correctly on those papers. Now, where is the injustice when we said was justice served?
Right, yeah.
Right. In my point of view, justice was not served, because to serve justice, she will have to go through a process that is legit and logical and fair.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go anytime.
They said they found her that she lied. What did she lie about?
Oh, there are statements on the application which says, were you ever arrested for a crime? Were you ever jailed for a crime? Well, now when she answered those, she either said no or she did not check yes, or didn't check anything either, one way, for two reasons. One is because she was indicted by the Israeli military, she was afraid that the American government will kick her out. Two, that brought up in her the times when she was tortured and raped in jail repeatedly. So in her mind, she just didn't want to visit the subject. So she did not answer it.
Yeah, and I heard that there is a lady, a professional therapist, psychologist, that she said
it's a post-torture
trauma. It's a trauma.
Yeah.
And yesterday I heard on the MNBC that Lady Gaga or something, she was raped, and the rape will not appear except after 4 years, even the feeling.
Yeah, you
So
do.
she was under really this pressure in her mind to block it.
That's how we feel, and that's why
Yeah.
we're saying justice was not served.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what inside of her, because how did that happen? What soldiers raped her? As a matter of fact, I heard a story that is really, really vicious, and that is they brought one of his family member to do something with her in jail, and it was unbelievable. That's why there is a considerable amount of truth that she was in trauma and she couldn't answer the questions. She want to get rid of it. She doesn't want it to appear any place. And what really make the case unjust is the judge during the pre-trial, he said, whatever happened in Israel should not be brought up in this court.
Wow.
So she couldn't even talk about it,
Wow.
you see?
And also something else happened to her in Palestine, I believe. She has her sister passed away, right?
I really don't know. My concentration was what I read, and I followed with the
Because
questioning.
I was following a little bit about her.
No, I didn't follow that. What I was following
It was also tragedy for her also, because if the Israeli also came to the house and something, and her house was taking also, and she has a lot of dramas there.
Yeah, I mean, the occupation is ugly, regardless whose occupation to whom. And the Israeli occupation is not a merciful occupation, it's a typical occupation. So when somebody is accused of something, normally they demolish the house, normally they kick them out of the house, and the rest of the story. What happened is, why now? Why 10 years after she got her citizenship?
Right.
She was a citizen since 2004. Why did they bring it up now? I really think personally, from what I read and what I followed with the defense committee, with the defense lawyers, that the government, represented by the FBI, they really wanted to silence the pro-Palestinian or anti-Israel sentiment in this country. So they went after them, and there is lots of movement in that direction, and they found the right one by finding that she lied on her
Citizenship
application.
application.
Now, what was the jury, for example, when they selected the jury, they routed them into court without meeting any of us as people who are just watching what's happening.
So you went there to the court.
Yeah, I went as an audience. I did not go for any other capacity.
You went, so I attended. It was about how many days the trial were? 7 days.
Well, that's the pre-trial, and then the trial took place with the jury. You know, they selected the jury.
You're talking about the trial in Detroit? Or?
Yeah. That's all what I'm talking about, is the trial in Detroit. I did not know her. I did not know her from before. I heard about her quite a bit, but I did not know her. And so what happened is there are so many restrictions in the court. So the defense lawyer Mike Gurich and his partners, they were really aggravated by the fact the judge almost took the side of the FBI in this case, and he almost passed judgment on her before even the jury came in.
Wow.
So she was guilty before she was guilty.
Yeah.
You see, because he passed so many rules that you cannot bring this up. For example, when I was just sitting there, you know, watching the proceedings, I couldn't put any T-shirt with her name on it, or I support Rasmiya. We couldn't even have a T-shirt for that.
Wow.
We were not allowed to talk to the jury.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what happened there? It was not a full trial. It was like a selective trial. So it is not a real trial that you will have for another person who is not Palestinian. It will have took a different proceedings than what we saw. This one was almost like a drama that's already been drawn by somebody, and they knew exactly what to do, and they know she's guilty. She didn't answer the questions, and they wanted to take it out. So she was like an escape for their feelings toward the Palestinian situation, or maybe Israel being an ally to the Americas. That's why they did it that way. So her trial was not a full trial. It was selective, and then she was judged before even the jury had a chance to look at it. And that's why I say, was really justice served? I don't think it was served. I think we should have a retrial with a different judge, and allow the defense to put the motions that they want and not to be interrupted by the judge like they did in this trial. I don't think they have the right to do that. Even if somebody lies on his immigration paper, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You can punish
And
him
she stayed
for
10
lying.
years citizen. She has a
And she was a good citizen.
Good
She
citizen.
really
She didn't do anything wrong.
She didn't even have a traffic ticket.
Uh-huh.
So that tells you she's a model citizen, you know. But not only that, but the judge took away the bond. Well, she had a bond because she was arrested a year ago by the FBI. He took away the bond, and it took him only a few minutes when he said, when the jury came with the verdict that she is guilty, the judge right away, he said, she is to be removed, cuffed, and taken to jail, which is Puerto Huron jail. It's called St. Clair County Jail, which is like 75 miles from here. So he detached her for even the Detroit community. Okay? And of course, the jail has its own rules and regulations where only her very close kinship can visit her once a week for so many minutes. So she didn't see anybody. You cannot take her a gift. You cannot take her a book to read or magazine, or if it's cold in there, you cannot take her a blanket. So that's, to me, it was, even if I want to have a room in the Holiday Inn, I need 10 minutes to reserve a room.
Right.
Well, the judge has only 2 minutes to reserve her a room in the jail. But that tells me that something is wrong.
Everything is maybe
And
arranged.
that's why justice
or
was not
something.
served. And that's where the subject, justice was not served. Something is wrong where the judge sided with the prosecutors rather than siding in reality with the plaintiff until that plaintiff is proven to be guilty, you see, or the defendant, I should say. Yeah,
Right,
because I don't know these terms in the law school.
I heard also before that another judge was, and it were taken out.
Yes, the judge Borman, they proved that he contributed to the Israeli Defense Force. He was contributing money.
This is the first one.
That's the first judge.
Yeah.
Plus, he had business relations in Jerusalem at the same place where the operation took place. So the defense, they said, look, you have a vested interest in this, so they remove him out of the case. And to I mean, I say it on the air, I really don't care, it is the truth, where the new judge, which is Judge Drain,
Right.
he's an Afro-American, so we expected somehow that justice will be served with the new judge. But it turned out to be that Judge Drain, I don't think he followed, to me, the conscience of a judge. A judge is supposed to be fair.
Right.
Even if life is not fair.
Yeah.
A judge is supposed to be fair.
Correct.
I don't think he was fair on this. This is my personal opinion. He can go after me if he wants to, but I don't think he was fair.
Right. Yeah. And how did anybody visiting here at
No, we're just sending her letters so she will have some company. But I know the regulations of the jail is only once a week for so many minutes and by her closest relatives, but not anybody. Like if I want to go there, why do you want to see her? What for? You know, I am not her relative.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but because Jesus said, I was in jail and you didn't visit me. And the disciple said to him, but teacher, when were you in jail and we didn't visit you? He said, if you have done it to my little children, you did it to me.
Right.
You remember that in the Bible?
I remember.
So that's why I thought I and my friends will go and visit her, but they only have close family members who should visit her.
Nobody can visit.
Now, there is one point I would like to bring up, and that is, there is no occupation that is a merciful occupation, especially in occupation like Israeli occupation to the Palestinian land. Even the United States government, Washington, does not approve of this occupation and the settling in the occupied land. So it is not agreed to by the United States. The international law says occupation is illegal, and so therefore resisting occupation is legal. Even from that point of view, I think it's legal for her to resist occupation. It's a very common sense. Just because in Israeli occupation we have to sympathize with it. Why? Because Israel is an ally of America. Well, let it be an ally of America. And let us have more allies. That's fine. But that is different from a moral issue of supporting immoral occupation. If the international law is against it, and we were co-authors of that international law, the U.S. government was a co-author of the international law, how come we are contradicting ourselves to the point we are allowing the occupation to do what they are doing, and yet we say we don't agree to that? What do you mean you don't agree to that? Either you agree with moral issues or you don't agree with moral issues. And if you don't agree, if you agree with moral issues, that puts you on the right side of history. If you don't agree with moral issues, then you become part of the problem rather than part of the solution. And that's when Obama took place. I thought President Obama is coming really to resolve the problem in a very just way, two-state solution or whatever the solution is. What ended up, he was under so much pressure that the guy couldn't do anything. And up till now, he's about to leave office. In 8 years, he couldn't accomplish the peace that we are looking for. So, well, what is occupied? I think Palestine is occupied. I think our Congress is occupied. I think our Senate is occupied. I think our House is White House is occupied, and now our judicial system is occupied. And that's why I say it's
you know,
not fair.
you talk, George, you said something about moral issue.
Yeah.
I believe, I mean, if United States is supporting such action, and what happened and such action, really, and it's not for our children here in the United States, because always they are the symbol for us, the United States, the government. It's just our symbol.
Yeah.
And we have to be honest and truth and help our community with all the money that was sent to Israel for occupying and destroying Palestinians.
Yeah, $4 billion a year.
Yeah, so it's nice to be straightforward, to take care of this country also. And the money we have so much here, hungry in the street, and the schools
And
are
the school
closing,
systems,
and
right,
everything.
right.
I mean, our country is more important than to do something bad and to support something bad.
You know, Elaine, although we have these conditions, that our schools are closing, our programs at schools is being eliminated, we have lots of homeless people, we have so much people on welfare, they can't find jobs, etc. I still think the government should support their allies. But if the issue become moral, that you stop, you see?
Immoral.
If you become immoral, if
Yeah.
morality is involved,
Yeah.
then you simply stop doing that, but not to continue doing that. To me, this trial is a political thing rather than trying to
Just-
save the United States from terrorists or anything else. She proved she's not a terrorist. Then why didn't he approve a tether on her ankle and stick around? No, he took the bond off. The judge took the bond off, and she now has to go to jail until her sentencing, which is March 10th.
Yeah.
Why to stay in jail all this time? And she's proved to be not a flight problem. She's not going to fly away. She's not going to go away. She said, I want to stick around here. She wants to stick, you know. So why didn't he give her that by issue a new bond? We will have paid the bond, the defense will have paid the bond, and she will stay free until the
Right.
sentencing day.
Exactly.
And whatever the sentencing is fine. I mean, that's up to the judge. We ask for his mercy, but that's all what we can do.
Yeah. I really I don't know what shall I say in this thing. I really thank you very much for your giving us all. Still, we have 5 minutes. I thought, yeah. So we can, if you have something else to talk about it, if you remember something else.
Yeah.
So she is in jail now, and she's cold, and she has blood pressure, I heard,
She
and
has
she can't
medical
have the medicine.
conditions, and they don't have all her medicines. That's true. I believe, I mean, they will give her medicine sooner or later. That's, you know, the point is, the trial is not just, the conclusion is not just, keeping her in jail is not just, there's no proof that we should do that whatsoever, and yet we are doing it as a system, as our government is doing it. I really think it's a political move, and that will open the subject. Why are we against the Palestinian case? Why? Don't they have the right? who said that the Israelis have the right to occupy another people's land and take it over and not to move out of it and move their people from coming from all over the world to go into this occupied area? I mean, the whole issue has to come to the people, to the American public, through this show, through every other show, through the media, through every way possible, that the people should know the truth. And the people should tell their congressmen, senators, this is wrong. We are not people in the United States to support wrong things in the world. We're supposed to be a government that will stand with the poor, will stand with the oppressed, will stand with those who are treated badly, rather than the other way around. And that's why I agreed to come and expose her case to the American public, hoping that somebody will do something by calling the congressperson and say, look, this is not correct. We have to tell the Israelis, if you want money from us, which is $4 billion a year, then you have to use it for moral purposes rather than immoral purposes.
Exactly, I agree with you.
600,000 settlers in the occupied territories in the last so many years, this is something immoral. They take people land, they take people houses, and
throw them in the street, without any shelter or some of them.
And the problem is they accused God with it. They bring God in the picture. God gave them the land. What are you talking about? What real estate God we have? It's not true that he gave the land. Even if he gave the land, did he give it furnished with homes? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous to the point where it has to be brought up. People of conscience must come to the point of saying, I got to do something about that.
Right,
it's not correct to do what they did.
God is not real estate. God, we are our creation, and we are equal. All of us, we are equal to each other.
Yeah.
And one thing it hurts me a lot is that they put her in prison because she lied on in the citizenship. I mean, look at the lie with all the pressure she has, all the rape and all the treatment, bad treatment for her, and put her. And look here, we have president, we have senators who lied.
Yeah.
And this is big for the country, but she didn't all the trauma she has, and put her in prison and without a trial,
which proves to me
that
it is political. The whole thing is a tragic comedy or a comic tragedy, one of the two.
Yeah.
But it is not really the right thing to do. Judge Drain should have been more just, and he should have been on the correct side of history. Yes, he should have punished her because she lied, and it's against the law to lie on the application.
Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't lie.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But not to this extent, and without allowing the trial to be a full trial. The trial has to be.
I have his conscience will
hopefully
will get him to the truth and take justice for her. George, thank you very much for giving us all the information, and thank you for listening, and thank you CTN for giving this opportunity for us to share this our reviews.
Thank you.
ضحك جورج وهيك كأنه بنحكي لسه
طبعا.
خلص يعني